Hello everybody and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol reveal breakdown, and we have some exciting news today with some more information revealed about Black Panther Chosen of Bast. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get right into things here. So of course we have another image of the model here. It is a really nice looking model. In my opinion, probably my favorite Black Panther model we've received so far. I love the cape. Capes are cool. Yeah, there's not much more to it. The Panther on the base is also absolutely sick. Really excited to see this model in person because I think it's going to look really good. So we do have, as usual, his card revealed here, but we also have a bunch of other stuff revealed with this panel play. And actually, weirdly enough, this time around, they actually gave us a list of affiliations for him, and it's a really interesting and exciting list. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into his card here. So I believe we've seen the front side of his card before, but we haven't seen the back. But for anyone who isn't aware, I'm going to go ahead and go over it anyways. So we have Black Panther Chosen of Bast, and he is a T'Challa, so this is really important. You can't run him with the other Black Panthers. A lot of us, myself included, were hoping it was going to be one of the other Black Panthers, but unfortunately he is a T'Challa, so you can't run him with the others, which is a shame. Would have been really nice to see if he would have been interesting under Black Panther 1 or Black Panther 2, but that's not the world we live in, so is what it is. Next, he's going to be having 3/3/3 for his defensive line. He's got 5 health, and he has a 3 threat, so this is all looking pretty standard for the 3 threat line, although, of course, if he doesn't have any defensive tech, that is on the squishy side. He's a size 2 and a medium mover. Going into his attack profiles, both of his attacks here are Mystic, which definitely sets him aside from the other Black Panthers. His first attack is Panther Strike. This is a range 2 5 dice Mystic attack. After this attack is resolved, he's going to gain power equal to the damage dealt, so your standard builder, but it does have a wild bleed in there, so yeah, certainly a nice extra thing to have on the builder. It being on Mystic probably makes it a little better than, say, your standard 5 dice no changes physical builder, so that's interesting, but nothing too fancy there so far. His spender, however, is a little bit more unique. It is Spirit Predator. It's also a mystic attack. It's going to cost him 4 power. It's going to be thrown out 7 dice with a range 2, and it has a wild hit finisher trigger. After this attack is resolved, this character may make a Panther Strike attack. This character may reroll any number of its dice during that attack. So that's pretty solid. You get a 7 dicer, and if you get that trigger, you get to go into a 5 dicer with full rerolls. That's definitely a solid thing. That trigger, though, isn't the most consistent. Even on 7 dice, you can still definitely miss that. So things that'll help him with that trigger will be good places to kind of look for putting Mr. Panther here. Next, we go into his superpowers, and we've seen this one on a Panther before. He has Pounce. This is going to be a 2 cost. He's going to throw himself small. He does not suffer damage if he collides with anything during this throw, but of course you can use this to throw yourself into your enemies and try to do damage to them. So yeah, really solid once per turn, so you can't just pounce all over the board, but yeah, really solid ability. Gives him a little bit of mobility, some action compression, and some extra damage in his kit, so definitely nice to have for him there. His first reactive, or I should say his only reactive, is Insight of the Ancients. This is a 1 cost, and it says when this character rolls dice while interacting with an objective token, it may use this superpower. So that's interesting. We usually don't see very many things that affect objectives, and even less so that affect only objectives, at least in terms of active or reactive superpowers. And it just says this character may reroll any number of its dice, including skull results. So that's really good. There's going to be some objectives where that is super meaningful. You definitely, there's some objectives where you really don't want that skull. He's going to have really good odds at flipping pay to flips and things like that. When your opponents are contesting them, he can have some rerolls, which is going to help him a lot. So yeah, that's a solid ability to have. It only costs him 1 power, so you won't be playing around with that too much in terms of round 1 plays, unless you're doing some, Spirit of Wakanda or whatever. But still, very nice extra thing to have on his kit there. Black Panther is coming in with 3 passive abilities here. He's got Stealth, so characters have to be within 3 to target him. That's just a good ability, so yeah, nice for him to have that. Gives him a little bit of extra defensive tech. And then he has Superior Agility. Enemy characters cannot modify attack dice when targeting this character with attacks. So that's where his defensive tech is coming from here. He's only 3 dice, but your opponent's not going to have any of their rerolls or anything like that, and they have to get within 3. So still definitely going to lean towards him being a little bit on the squishier side, but that is really good defensive tech, so that'll hopefully help keep him alive against some of the targets or some of the attackers who really rely on things like rerolls to get their damage through and aren't just throwing a crazy amount of dice at you. So that's really, really good. The last thing he has is Wall Crawler, just to help him get around the board, and he'll definitely appreciate that because, I mean, medium move is nice, but it's even better if you can climb over things. So yeah, that's a pretty solid thing to have. So yeah, overall, I think my stance on Black Panther is pretty similar to what it was when he was first revealed. I'm a little lukewarm on him, but I don't think he's bad. I just think he's not the most exciting card in the world. He's got a solid attack profile. He's got some reasonably good defensive check. I think Pounce is a great ability, and having on a 3 threat is nice. So yeah, I think he's good at a lot of things. I don't think he's particularly amazing, but I am excited for some of the places he's going to be playable. Looking at the flip side of his card, I don't believe anything changes, but I could be wrong. If you guys notice anything, do let me know down below in the comments. But as far as I can tell, nothing is changing on this side, so there's not too much to talk about here. Going a little further down the page here is where we get to what's really exciting here is they actually talk about where he is affiliated. And this one's really, really nice. So it mentions, obviously, he's going to be affiliated with Wakanda. That makes sense. But he's also going to be affiliated in Avengers, Defenders, and Midnight Suns. And I am very excited for a new Midnight Suns character. That's going to be great. And Defenders and Avengers, I think he'll be solid as well. I think I was mentioning some places where you can help him with that trigger. I think Steve 3 in Avengers is going to be really, really good for him. Defenders giving him rerolls on his attacks will also feel pretty solid. He can use that Pounce to kind of get the most out of it as well. Very good there. But yeah, I just love seeing more Midnight Suns characters. That means he can use Siege. So the idea of kind of doing a wider Siege of Darkness focused team is a little bit more reasonable now that we're getting another 3 threat for their roster. So love to see it. Very happy about that. But yeah, and then they also, of course, mentioned that using him in M'Baku will probably be really, really good for him as well. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty solid. But yeah, they talk about some synergies and stuff there. And then we get into the other exciting part about this reveal is the tactics cards. 3 tactics cards were revealed here, 2 of which are Wakanda. One of them is for T'Challa or Shuri, so the really nice thing there is any of the T'Challas will be able to play that card. But the first one is King's Command. This is an active Wakanda card. During their activation, an allied character with an active Wakanda leadership may spend 4 power to play this card. This round, once per turn, when an allied Wakandan character makes an attack, after the attack is resolved, it gains 1. So that's interesting. Any of your Wakandan leaders can do it. It does specify it has to be an active leadership, so you can't have one of the non-active leader characters that has a leadership play it. But that's a solid ability. You can kind of use this to go net neutral if you want on something like a Wakanda Forever turn, where all of your Wakandan characters are going to make an attack, and then they're going to gain back 1 power each, so that, costs them 1 to do it. So they all go net neutral, even if they don't do any damage or anything like that with their attacks. So that's solid. If you have characters who are, also going to be able to make 2 or more attacks on their own turn, they'll be able to refund more power out of that. So you can do a few interesting things with that. It does cost 4, so you're going to have to hope that your leader kind of has the power to spare that round. But it's a reasonably good card, so yeah, I think that's a solid effect. Nothing too crazy, but pretty nice. The second card they have here is Wisdom of the Ancestors. This is the unaffiliated card that can be played by either T'Challa or Shuri. It's an active card, and they have to spend 3 power to play the card, but it does not have to be their turn. This round, when the character that played this card rolls attack, defense, or dodge dice, it counts skulls as successes. I really like that with original Black Panther, who's counting blanks as successes as well on his front side. So now on his front side, he's counting everything except hits, which is kind of insane. He can be ridiculously bulky if you want, and that's unaffiliated, so I immediately think of playing that on him somewhere like Avengers or something like that. Yeah, that seems like a really solid card. Not quite as good for Shuri, in my opinion, just because she's very squishy, and adding one side of the die to her defense rolls definitely helps, but probably isn't going to stop her from still being a relatively squishy character. So I'm not as big of a fan of it on her, but I do think this is really good on Black Panther. So yeah, that's great for probably any of the T'Challas, but I think my favorite is the first one, just Black Panther. So yeah, really solid new card though for T'Challa or Shuri. And the last thing we have revealed here is Strength and Cunning. This is a reactive Wakandan card. When an enemy character picks up an objective token, Black Panther, Chosen of Bast, and M'Baku may each spend 3 power to play this card. So this one is specific to the new Black Panther and M'Baku, so they really want you to be running this Black Panther under M'Baku, it seems like, and that makes sense, because I do think they will synergize reasonably well. M'Baku throws himself short towards the enemy character that picked up the token. If M'Baku collides with the enemy character, he does not suffer damage from the collision. Then, if the enemy character suffered damage, Black Panther, Chosen of Bast, may advance his speed towards M'Baku. That's a lot of things going on there, but basically M'Baku's going to get to throw himself at them, and then if he deals damage with that throw, Black Panther is going to get to advance towards them, or towards M'Baku, I guess. And yeah, that seems like a solid way to move a couple of your models out of activation, maybe get a little bit of extra damage. Hey, if they're picking it up and they're on like 1 power or something like that, that's pretty good. Or 1 health rather. You can drop them in, while it's still their turn, and then move Black Panther closer as well. Lots of cool things you could do with that. It is a little expensive, costing 3 on each of the characters, and I don't think this Black Panther has crazy power generation. I mean, it's just the standard 1 per turn, and then the Panther Strike, which is not a bad builder by any means, but it's not really doing anything to be faster than other builders. So I don't know how often he's going to have the power to throw at that, but still, it's a nice option for him to have. I do think it's a solid card overall. I'm just not sure how often you'll actually have the chance to play it. Still, really nice options to have for him, and it gives you another reason to pair those models together, which I think is always good to see. I'm also realizing I'm really dumb, and I misread Wisdom of the Ancestors when I was talking about it. I thought it was just defense or dodge dice. That's also attack dice. That's really good. Yeah, I stand by. I think Black Panther 1 is amazing with that, but also I think all of the Black Panthers are probably amazing with that. I was talking about not having amazing power generation for Strength and Cunning, but if you're counting skulls on your attacks, then yeah, okay, this Black Panther probably also can have really good power generation for a turn. Yeah, this is a very solid card. I like this a lot. I don't know how I missed that before, but that's really good. So yeah, that's super nice to have, and that also kind of helps me like it a little more with Shuri. I mean, she's kind of capping at 1 damage anyways, unless she's going for a spender, but like, if you need to take something down, going for a spender with counting skulls, yeah, why not? Um, so yeah, I like that card a lot, actually. That seems really good. But that does just about do it. Of course, here we have the fancy splash art, which looks fantastic. Man, capes are a win. And of course, then just their little blurb, saying, he comes with Namor and all that. But yeah, that is what was revealed today. So we got 3 new tactics cards. I don't believe we knew any of these were coming. I could be wrong. Maybe we'd seen one of these before and I forgot about it. And we've seen the back side of his card now, which turns out is just the same as the front side of his card, but is what it is. Still nice to have, and nice to have in an image that's not incredibly blurry. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I think he looks like a reasonably solid character. I don't think he's going to be breaking the game or anything like that, but he looks like he's going to be solid where he's solid. I love that he's affiliated in Midnight Suns. I like that we're already aware he's also going to be affiliated in Defenders and Avengers as well as Wakanda. Happy to see that. Love to see more models for Defenders, especially right now, which I'm really excited about with Shang-Chi and Silver Sable coming. So that's awesome. These cards look really good. Like Strength and Cunning looks like a lot of fun. King's Command is at least interesting. I don't know yet how good it is, but it's at least interesting. And then Wisdom of the Ancestors seems really solid in the right place. I really like the idea of that with original Black Panther, and I'm definitely gonna have to play around with that at some point. But yeah, all 3 of these cards look pretty solid in the right place. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for this guy actually. He looks sick. I can't get over the model. The cape is an absolute win, and you can't argue with that. But yeah, that is going to do it for this reveal breakdown. Let me know what you guys think. How are you guys feeling on the new Black Panther? Are you excited? Are you lukewarm? Do you not care? Let me know down below. Curious to hear what you guys think. Personally, I think my biggest disappointment with him right now is just that he's another T'Challa, and I think we could have gotten a different Black Panther, and that would have been more interesting. But I do think he looks really cool, and if we're going to get a three-threat Panther, I think they did justice by him. He's an interesting three-threat. He does some cool things, notably the Insight of the Ancients is a really unique and different superpower, so I'm excited to see that. And yeah, I think he'll be a solid model, especially in some of those other affiliations that he has access to. So we're gonna have to see how things shake out with him, of course, and I do think these cards are also really interesting. So do let me know down below what you guys think. But yeah, that's going to do it for my end on this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do drop a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We do breakdowns and things like this whenever new stuff is revealed. We also do things like character spotlights and more competitive focused content during the weekdays and battle reports on the weekends. So if you like any of that sort of thing, feel free to jump on in. But yeah, otherwise that's going to be it for this one. So until next time, have a great day, everybody. Peace.